영어 동화 세상 리틀팍스.
Dance practice time. It's early in the morning at 123 Dance Studio. Professional dancers are already in the practice rooms. Let's meet some of them. Kira is a ballet dancer. She will audition for a role in the Nutcracker soon. That's a famous Russian ballet. Ballet is difficult to learn. Ballet dancers must be flexible and strong. See how Kira stands on one foot and makes a full turn? She must hold her body really straight to do this turn. Her shoes have flat front ends. The flat ends help her balance on the tips of her toes. Female ballet dancers often wear tutus for performances. These are short skirts with many layers. They let dancers move their legs freely. Good luck with your audition, Kira. Jay teaches hip-hop dance. He also creates dances for singers' music videos. He sometimes performs too. He's practicing a dance for today's class right now. Jay's movements are quick and timed to the strong beats. Hip-hop dancers can use every part of their bodies. Jay dances in his everyday clothes and comfortable shoes. This helps him to move his body freely. It looks like class is about to start. Let's move on. Lisa and Mel are tap dancers. Tap dancers make loud taps on the floor with their feet. They make these noises with special shoes. The bottoms of the shoes have metal plates at the heel and toe. When the metal hits the floor, it makes a loud noise. Tap dance performances were popular in the early 20th century. Back then, tap dancers often performed to jazz. But now it can be performed to almost any kind of music. People still enjoy tap dance today. Stomp, stomp, tap, tap. Lisa and Mel can tap fast. Being a professional dancer is a difficult job. It takes years of training and hard work. But dancing is fun for everyone. Watch this!
Hey flag, North America. Hey flag, tell us about yourself.
I am the Mexican flag. I have 3 stripes, with the Mexican coat of arms in the middle stripe. The coat of arms has a very special meaning because it symbolizes the Aztec people who lived in Mexico long ago. According to legend, the Aztec god Huitzilopochtli told his people to settle where they saw an eagle sitting on a cactus and eating a snake. After hundreds of years of wandering, they saw the eagle, the cactus, and the snake on an island in a lake. They built their city there, and that place is now Mexico City. There is a funny story about my red stripe. When the Mexican people first made the flag, they wanted to use purple, not red. Purple represented Spain, which is where most of Mexico's people came from. But they could not find any purple cloth, so they had to use red.
Hey flag, tell us about yourself.
I am the flag of the United States of America. Many people call me the Stars and Stripes. I have 50 stars, 1 for each of the states. I also have 13 stripes, 7 red and 6 white for each of the original states. I have changed over the years. I didn't always have 50 stars. Every time a new state was added, I got another star. This is how I looked in 1777. I was first sewn by Betsy Ross. President George Washington asked her to sew me. She finished the flag in early June of 1776, just a month before the Declaration of Independence was read in Independence Hall. The American people are very patriotic. Many Americans see me as the greatest symbol of their nation. Every morning, millions of school children recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Hey, flag, tell us about yourself.
I am the Canadian flag. You can call me the maple leaf. I did not become the Canadian flag until 1965. Before that, Canadians used the Union Jack, which is the flag of Great Britain. But the people of Canada wanted to have their own flag. The maple leaf has been a symbol of Canada for a very long time. In 1860, the Prince of Wales came to Canada for a visit. Everyone in Toronto came out into the streets to greet him. The people who were born in England wore a rose on their shirts, and the people born in Scotland wore a thistle, but there was nothing for the people born in Canada to wear. So they chose to wear a maple leaf from the Canadian maple tree. From that day on, the maple leaf truly became a Canadian symbol. Many people believe that my two red stripes represent the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans, with a vast and great country between them.
Your flag can tell you a lot about your country. What does your flag mean?
A gondola ride in Venice. Lara and Mom walked along a canal. Mom read aloud from her Venice guidebook, but Lara was too excited to listen.
This is the Rialto Bridge.
Read Mom.
It is the oldest bridge on the Grand Canal and... Ooh!
Lara squealed. She pointed to a row of black boats.
Mom! Can we take a gondola ride? Good idea,
Said Mom.
My feet are getting sore.
Mom hired a gondola to go to St. Mark's Square. Marco, the driver, helped them into the boat. Lara and Mom sat down on the pretty red cushions. Marco gestured with one arm and rowed with the other.
This is the Grand Canal. It's one of the major waterways in Venice.
He said.
It's almost 4 kilometers long, and it's 90 meters wide in some places. There are 177 canals in Venice.
A long motorboat passed by.
That looks like a bus,
Said Lara.
That's a water bus.
Said Marco.
We don't have cars in Venice, so people have to walk. Or they travel on the canals. We have water buses and even water taxis.
He pointed to a smaller motorboat. Marco steered the gondola into a narrow canal.
There's less traffic in this canal.
Lara said. She stared up at the tall, elegant buildings.
Venice was a rich and powerful city during the Renaissance.
Marco said.
People built palace-like houses to show off their wealth.
They passed under a covered white bridge.
The Doge's palace is on the right.
Marco said.
It was a beautiful white building.
Lara wrinkled her nose.
What's a doge?
She asked.
The Doge was the ruler of Venice.
Marco said.
The palace is a museum now.
At the end of the canal, Marco turned the gondola into an open lagoon.
Here we are.
Announced Marco.
This is St. Mark's Square.
Marco helped Mom and Laura out of the gondola.
Can we go see the Doge's palace, Mom?
Asked Laura.
Be sure to see St. Mark's Church and the bell tower too.
Marco said.
Thank you.
Said Mom. She turned to Laura.
My feet feel rested now. I'm ready for more sightseeing.
Laura cheered.
Good! Let's go!
Climbing up the wall.
I can't wait to try rock climbing.
Mason said.
It's going to be so much fun.
Olivia bit her lip.
Yeah, I can't wait either.
Mason laughed.
You're not gonna like rock climbing. You're afraid of heights, Olivia.
I am not!
Olivia folded her arms across her chest. She was terrified, but of course, she didn't want her brother to know that. "We're here," Mom said as she pulled into the parking lot.
You two have fun.
Olivia and Mason went inside. An instructor asked the siblings for their shoe sizes. She grabbed a pair of rock climbing shoes for each of them. After that, she helped them put on harnesses and took them into the gym. Olivia gasped. The walls were even taller than she'd expected. They were dotted with colorful objects that looked like rocks.
What are those?
She asked. You use them to climb up the walls, the instructor said. Different colors mark different routes. Some routes are more difficult than others.
What do we do first?
Mason blurted out.
I'm ready to start.
The instructor gave a short demonstration on how to climb. All of our walls have devices that control the rope as you climb, she said. Just hook the rope onto your harness and climb. When you lean back, the device will lower you slowly.
Awesome!
Mason ran to a wall, hooked a rope onto his harness, and started to climb. He looked down at his sister.
I'm going to beat you to the top.
Stop bragging!
Olivia said as she stepped up to the wall. She clipped the rope onto her harness. Carefully, she placed her foot on a rock and got onto the wall. When she felt ready, she climbed a bit higher. She looked up at her brother, who was already halfway up the wall.
I can do this,
she told herself.
I'm not scared.
Each time Olivia got a little higher, she took a deep breath. Then, when she felt comfortable, she climbed some more. She felt all of her muscles straining, but she enjoyed the feeling. In fact, she was starting to feel a lot less scared. Soon, she heard a bell ring from above.
I'm at the top! I won!
Mason yelled. He looked down at Olivia with a sly grin. Suddenly, his face went pale.
Are you okay?
Olivia asked. Mason was silent. His entire body was now flat against the wall.
He went up too fast,
Olivia thought.
He didn't realize how high he climbed.
Olivia continued up and was soon next to him. Mason looked terrified.
How come you don't seem scared?
He asked his sister. Olivia grinned.
I went up just a little bit at a time. That way I got used to the height slowly. Now lean back. You'll be back on the floor soon.
Olivia led her brother down the wall. When Mason was ready, they climbed up again. This time he was a bit nervous, but Olivia wasn't scared at all. Many Cinderellas. Once upon a time, there was a kind-hearted girl. Her evil stepmother would not let her go to the prince's ball. But a fairy godmother came to the rescue. Can you guess what story this is? Here's a hint. There is a glass shoe. That's right. The story is Cinderella. Cinderella is a very old fairy tale. In fact, it's over 1,000 years old. But the glass shoe and the fairy godmother only appeared around 300 years ago. This version of Cinderella was published in France in 1697. It introduced most of the details that are familiar today. A pumpkin becomes a carriage. Mice are turned into horses. And the fairy godmother's magic wears off at midnight. But this version is very different from earlier Cinderella stories. One of the earliest known Cinderella stories appeared in China around 860. In this story, Cinderella wants to go to a festival and not a ball. And instead of a fairy godmother, there is a magic fish. Cinderella wears a gown made of sea green silk. Her cloak is made of feathers. And her lost shoe is made of gold. Much later, a story called Kongji and Pakji was written. This one comes from Korea. Kongji has an evil stepmother and a stepsister named Pakji. The stepmother gives Kongji lots of chores so she cannot go to a feast. A bull, a toad, sparrows, and a fairy all help Kongji finish the chores. On Kongji's way to the feast, she loses her silk shoe in a stream. The local governor finds the lost shoe. He searches for its owner and finds Kongji at the feast. In 1634, the first European version of the story was published in Italy. A fairy lives in a date tree over the grave of Cinderella's mother. The fairy helps Cinderella attend a ball. When she loses her shoe, the king finds it. To find the shoe's owner, he invites the women of the kingdom to a feast. At the feast, the shoe jumps out of the king's hands. It flies onto Cinderella's foot. Today, even more versions of Cinderella exist. Each story has different details. But the storyline usually follows the same pattern with a missing shoe. Can you guess how the story almost always ends? Yes, Cinderella and her husband live happily ever after.